My name is Fiona Barnett. I'm a victim of child trafficking through the CIA, Luciferian ritual abuse, and Project MKUltra. Child trafficking is run as a single integrated world operation. This operation is coordinated by the CIA. The Australian wing is coordinated by ASIO. The Luciferian pedophiles have infiltrated all areas of Australian government, education, health and human services, police, media, defence forces, child protective services.
We have in Australia, sadly, a compromise at the highest of levels. There's a former Prime Minister on this list, and it is a police document.
I was prostituted at age 6 years to a pedophile orgy at Parliament House in Canberra.
Welcome to Parliament House in Canberra. Let's step inside.
Where I was raped by then Prime Minister Gough Whitlam, Attorney General Lionel Murphy and Governor General John Kerr. During the same excursion, future Prime Minister Bob Hawke raped me in a suburban backyard near Canberra. You cannot possibly understand their pervasiveness unless you were raised in their world. And former President Richard Nixon
I'm not a crook.
raped me in the back of a USA CIA military plane at Australia's main military airport. After this, I was child sex trafficked from Sydney Airport to California, USA in a cargo plane. I was gassed and stuffed in a wooden crate like an animal. During this trip, I was raped by media founder Ted Turner at a pedophile party held at Disneyland, and I was trafficked to the annual summer camp at Bohemian Grove, attended by notable politicians, businessmen and other VIPs. I was raped by the Reverend Billy Graham in a pink bubble-themed cabin at Bohemian Grove. Billy Graham told me that his good buddy Richard Nixon had recommended me to him.
Well, I'm not a crook.
At Bohemian Grove, I was one of a group of children dressed as teddy bears and hunted for sport by men in the forest to the theme song Teddy Bear's Picnic.
If you go into the woods today, you better go in the sky.
I also witnessed the ritual murder of a woman by male guests dressed in black Luciferian robes.
And that is Malcolm Turnbull, who is known as the King of Porn of Australia. He owns the rights to all pornography in Australia. And as soon as he realised that all his people were going to come undone, he authorised murder of Sally Ann Huxford.
Our current Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, ordered the murder of Sally Ann.
And yet he's Prime Minister of this country now. The other evil pedophile, Prime Minister John Howard. Everyone from Bob Carr, who is a convicted pedophile. Bob Carr was Premier of New South Wales, and Bob Carr molested 2 boys in a hotel. The organised pedophiles in Sydney, which was networked through Alexander Downer, pedophile groups within Australia.
So you're saying the Westminster pedophile ring that Jimmy Savile and the Royal family and everyone has been linked to?
Yeah, that's all Alexander Downer. Yeah. He was known as the colonial cocksucker.
I was raped on an altar by B-grade actor Bruce Spence in front of a room full of Luciferian pedophiles, including multiple New South Wales police and Catholic priests. Multiple New South Wales police and Catholic priests. Rosalind Croucher presided over this violation of my human rights alongside New South Wales Police Commissioner John Avery, Australian cricket captain Richie Benno, and ASIO officer and federal politician Kim Beazley Senior. During that ritual, a fully pregnant breeder and her unborn baby, plus a group of approximately 10 children, were ritually murdered on stage. When I was aged 9 years, I witnessed Anthony Kidman, Nicole Kidman's father, preside over the ritual murder of a young boy. Nicole Kidman was 11 years old at the time, and she was present sitting in the front row during this murder.
A piece of pizza.
In Sydney University's Great Hall, and she was present sitting in the front row during this murder. During this murder.
Oh, is this right?
Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman met on Young Talent Time, run by Johnny Young, a convicted pedophile.
A lot of the kids came forward from Young Talent Time said they'd been sexually assaulted on set, didn't they?
Graham Kennedy was always the sort of man
who nurtured young talent. He enjoyed giving young people a chance on television.
He mentored a lot of young people. He's a great mentor.
He enjoyed young people.
You knew that if you went to his dressing room and it was locked, he'd be inside doing some mentoring. Dressing room and it was locked.
He'd be inside doing some young people.
Bert Newton was told to go away from Channel 9 when he was exposed for his prolific pedophile acts with himself and Graham Kennedy.
Don Burke was another one on Channel 9, wasn't he?
Berkey was a prolific. Berkey lost his fortune through paying gag money to the many victim children. That was the main reason why Kerry never ever let him come back to Channel 9, was the fact that he'd been done for so many times and it was covered up. Laurie Meldrum was a prolific child abuser.
He's the Jimmy Savile of Australia by the sounds.
I am a director.
Of course,
Countdown, host.
Many of the bands in Australia did not make it because they refused to participate in child sex acts at Molly Meldrum's parties.
23 seconds from disaster. Elton praises local music critic who slithers up on stage to join him. And as if it were a totally normal thing to do, Molly slides down his trousers and flashes his bare bum to the world.
And you'll be there with egg on your face. Well, I don't know about being egg.
Hillsong is breaking numerous laws in Australia and around the world relating to fraud, money laundering and tax evasion.
Pedophilia.
It's felt like we're a part of something really wrong.
Frank Houston was a pedophile, but this is when he was released from jail for raping a boy. And even though he was never to be worked with children again in New Zealand, what I'd like to know is who it was within the Macquarie investment industry where Malcolm Turnbull, the now Prime Minister of Australia, sat on that board who financed him to come to Australia and cleared his record to run a youth centre.
Yes.
It's horrible.
Are involved in the Wood Royal Commission.
And I have documents here which the Royal Commission has seen.
They are very disturbing.
Very disturbing.
Because many of the magistrates were child abusers and involved in the Wood Royal Commission and were named in the Wood Royal Commission.
Yeah.
All the New South Wales Police covered it all up. It's actually legalised. All this Royal Commission does is find out all the evidence so that they can put it in a case and seal it for 40 years. The Wood Royal Commission was sealed in a 90-year seal by John Howard in the middle of the night because so many of his ministers.
Lucas Heights Nuclear Reactor is a 20-storey underground research facility that was connected by an underground tunnel to a 7-storey or so underground research facility at Holsworthy Army Base. Children were imprisoned in cages beneath Holsworthy and never saw daylight. Children were tortured, raped and murdered in the name of national security with the full knowledge and blessing of the Australian and United States governments. These child victims were sourced from Luciferian covens, various cults, boys' town homes, Darrick Boys Home, government and church-run juvenile detention centres, foster care, police lockup, Catholic churches, child prostitution brothels, blackmailed pedophile parents and Hillsong Church that was founded by New Zealand pedophile Frank Houston.
Over Luciferian rituals committed in the following Catholic churches: Regina Coller Catholic Church at Beverly Hills, Sutherland Shire, Boys Town Chapel, located at Ingadine, Sutherland Shire, and St John Bosco Church, which is located opposite Ingadine, Boys Town. Other key Catholic sites of Luciferian ritual were St Mary's Cathedral in the middle of Sydney City, and St James Chapel, which is located on the Sydney University campus.
Consent is yes.
Absolutely, for sure.
On Sydney University campus.
Yeah! And you need to ask for consent.
Every act.
Every time.
That's every single time.
Yeah!
It's all about consent.
Yeah!
Perhaps the moment can be immortalised on a new $5 note.
Yeah!
Or a duet album with Elton.
Absolutely.
Featuring hits like Tiny Dacca.
Yeah!
Don't Let My Pants Go Down on Me.
For sure.
And I'm Still Mooning.
I've left.
Yeah! Yeah!
Yeah!